In 2024, it is harder to get leads and clients than ever before. Every other day, someone says there's a new magic pill or magic strategy that's going to make clients and leads fall from the sky and make your pipeline great again, but inevitably they fall flat on their face after not too long. And the biggest reason for that is because they don't trust you. And think about it. When was the last time you got a single cold email or you saw a single ad and then all of a sudden you're paying that person thousands of dollars within the next couple of days? It just doesn't happen. That's not how people buy, and that's probably not how you buy either. And if you're wondering why people are so skeptical and how it came to be that way, where people just don't want to buy stuff anymore, it's most likely because there are a lot of terrible service providers in the market right now. Because let's be honest, if someone said, hey, I'm going to get you a ton of sales calls and it's going to be pretty cheap, it's going to be economic, you'd probably do it if you believe them. But the problem is that the people that sell lead generation services probably don't even know the stuff I'm about to cover in this video that is absolutely essential for you to get leads in 2024. Before we get into it, if you've never seen my videos before, my name is Leo Moore. I'm the co-founder of 1000x Leads. I work with over 200 plus business owners on a weekly basis to help them scale up using the exact stuff I'm about to cover in this video, and obviously a little bit more. You see, what most people do when they set out and start trying to generate leads is they have a paid ad funnel, they have a cold email funnel, they have absolutely nothing and just rely on referrals, or they might post on Twitter a little bit to try and get clients. Maybe, they post a few YouTube videos and they're pushing all of this traffic towards their recurring service. So what's a recurring service? Paid ads for $3,000 a month. They want to do email marketing for $3,000 a month, or whatever SMMA guru is telling you to do, AI stuff, whatever. Basically, the whole point is you are trying to get traffic here and you're trying to send that traffic towards a recurring service. Now, if what I said is true, where it's really, really hard to get someone to see an ad and then buy whatever product, do you think that it's a good idea to go ahead and try and get them to sign up for a multi-month recurring service straight away off the bat? I dare say that is probably not a good idea. And I dare say that will probably leave you looking like this bloke right here, where he's kind of just waiting around, sitting around for clients. So when you go out and you try and generate leads, or when you pay someone to try and generate leads for you, and all they're doing is sending a cold email trying to pitch a recurring service, what do you think is going to happen? It's almost one of those things where some people in the market really have a good understanding of this and some people don't, and the people that don't are getting absolutely squashed right now. And what I propose to you as the solution is you have to build a funnel that's something similar to this. And a lot of people might have seen this before if you've seen any of Matt's videos, but a lot of people see this and they think, wow, that's a lot of stuff immediately straight off the bat. There's a lot of stuff going on. And what I want to tell you to do is, if you're getting overwhelmed right now, take a look at this photo. This is Teddy Roosevelt. If you feel overwhelmed, just go ahead and go and look at this man, look at Teddy right here, and tell him, I can't focus. I'm too busy. I've been in a funk. I'm in the trenches. I had a suboptimal morning routine. My sleep score was only 43. I'm literally at war. The funnel's too overwhelming. I know how to do all this, and I could implement this funnel on my own if I wanted, because I know how to do all that stuff, but I just haven't done it yet, despite being in business for 8 years. That's what you can go and tell Teddy. Because if you want to generate leads in 2024, this is just the reality of the situation. It's not you just run paid ads and then you just sell people deals. Like, it's not 2019 anymore. What you have to do these days is you have to do the entire marketing funnel. This is what you call a holistic marketing funnel. This is what we do with every single one of our clients. This is what Matt did to scale to $900K a month. This is what I've done to scale agencies to $100K a month. This is just what is necessary. It is pretty much that simple. So let me break it down, because I imagine this is looking pretty overwhelming right now. You're probably thinking, wow, I don't have enough time. This is, super tough. It's super, difficult. And that's the initial reaction. And that is kind of true. But when you break it down, it does make a little bit more sense. Really, what you want to do here is just break it down. So here, what we have is effectively getting eyeballs. And then below here, you kind of have your converting eyeballs, which would be your sort of middle of funnel. Down here, you'd obviously have your bottom of funnel, BOF. And at the top, obviously that would be TOF. So typically, there are 4 ways to get eyeballs. Number 1 being paid ads, number 2 being content, number 3 being outreach, and number 4 being partnerships. What you're typically going to hear from people on the internet is that you have to focus on just one of these things. And that is kind of true when you're really low in revenue. If you're trying to get your first couple of clients, your first, few clients, that is when you would start doing purely prospecting. I'd just say, just do a lot of prospecting, do some content to help your prospecting. And really don't focus too much on doing too much at once, because when you're at the start, you're kind of just trying to figure out what the hell is going on. But as you're scaling up, I'm talking about getting from 10, 20, 30, 50, 100, 200, 300, 400K a month. That's when you start wanting to have all of these things running at once. The reason for that is because each of them makes the other one work better. So for example, let's say you see someone's paid ad. You don't just go ahead and buy. Like you don't just see this paid ad and then skip all the way to the end to the recurring service. That's just not what happens in 2024. I think I've got a graphic somewhere over here that kind of shows what that's like. So it's kind of like, let's say you're doing cold email. So you do a cold email, you sell the reply, you send them, some sort of sales asset like a Loom, then you try and get them on a call and you try and close them. That's a step-by-step process. You're going, I'm going to sell the reply, I'm going to take them here, I'm going to take them there, I'm going to take them there. If you go ahead and you try and jump straight to the end, this skinny bloke is just going to fall straight in the river. That's basically the example. So if we go back over here, the reason that we don't want too much of a jump is because they don't trust you. And what happens here is they just kind of fall out of love with you. Compare that to, let's say they look you up, they see your content. Do you think the person with the content is going to win? Let's say there's two people. You see one person's ad, you see two sets of ads. You see one person's ad, that person has no content, they don't have anything available, they have no lead magnets, they just go straight to a recurring service. Then you see another ad, and then you look them up, you see their content, you see their lead magnets, you read 3 or 4 of them, and then you all of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to sign up to this guy's email list. You sit on their email list for a month, 2 months, 3 months, you go through their flows, maybe their appointment setter reaches out to you, has a conversation with you a few times, you watch their VSL, you say, oh, I'm not that interested. Then all of a sudden you go all the way back up, you might read another lead magnet, then all of a sudden you watch their VSL again, then you go through, you are a qualified lead, you see their website, you go through the testimonials, you go through their pre-call flow, you're on a sales call, and then all of a sudden you're gonna buy something. And it's kind of like when you only have one of these things, when you only have this, it's kind of like you've only got one bullet in your gun. Compare that to here, where you've got kind of unlimited ammo. It's kind of like a cheat code. So again, the reason that we want all of these things is because each of them makes the other one work better. So for example, let's say you're even doing outreach. Let's say one of you watching this video, let's say I sent you a cold email. You're about 100 times more likely to respond to my cold email now that you've seen this video. Even if you don't enjoy this video, even if you just see it and you're aware, you might have seen me on a homepage or something like that. You say, oh, I've seen that guy's name before. And that kind of familiarity does absolute wonders for you. And it's not as if you have to be, an absolute insane level expert at each of these things. It's just that you have to have them up. At a bare minimum, having these things up is insane. I know a lot of people, they say, yeah, my content does really well for me, or my outreach does really well for me. And it's like, well, what if you just put a paid ad campaign on, you just put it for $50 a day, and you just sent it to a lead magnet? What would happen? I literally did this the other day with one of my clients, Brian. He's absolutely elite at content. Does really well. He's got an agency doing pretty well for him with his outreach, and he's got really good partnerships. And I was like, why don't you just throw a paid ad campaign on? It's not going to hurt you. Like, let's say you're making 20, 30K a month. $50 a day on ads is not going to destroy you. So just having that up, it just adds another source of leads, so that when your content falls off, or you have a video flop, or you get busy and you can't post anymore, or let's say your outreach domains get banned and maybe your partners aren't sending you as many clients, all of a sudden the paid ads are just there to make you even more robust. So while all of these things are making you so much stronger, they're also giving you that robustness that saves you from not only the feast and famine months, but more importantly, having to take on shitty clients when you're having a bad month. Trust me, I know better than anyone almost that when your pipeline is dry and when things are going badly, it's really, really easy to take on those bad clients. So when you're talking about generating this amount of leads, it's not just, oh, my lead flow is good enough, my content's good enough, we already book calls, we already get clients. It's like, yeah, it's good enough, but your MRR is not only unstable because you're not sure how good those clients are, they can also churn. So you're constantly under the pump, and generating these leads is so damn important that even relying on one of these things it's not going to leave you in an optimal state. Like, of course, you can go ahead and make a paid ad funnel, and it can work. It can get you clients. It will get you clients. But when you add in the other things, it just makes it so much more efficient. So it's kind of like when you have each of these things, it's just a huge add-on and add-on and add-on. And this is how companies grow really, really well. When people start implementing this, about 90 days in, typically that's when they start saying, I've got too many leads. And that's with just a couple of lead magnets. That's with just their paid ads running, just their content, just their outreach, and a few partnerships. It really doesn't take that much. So if you just said, I'm going to spend 30 minutes a day on paid ads, I'm going to spend 30 minutes a day on content, I'm going to spend 30 minutes a day managing my cold email campaigns, and I'm going to spend 30 minutes a day reaching out to partners, you're going to get some eyeballs. And that's why I say part one, you really have to simplify this. I know it's a big graphic. It's a big, it's a visual thing. You're like, what's going on here? I don't even know. It's a massive flow chart, very confusing. But really, even if you just block half the screen and you say, I just know if I need to get leads, I need to get people to look at my stuff, I'm going to do paid ads, I'm going to do content, I'm going to do outreach, and I'm going to allocate some of my outreach towards the partnerships, you're going to do much, much better than the alternative, which is, I don't even know where to start. But to go a little bit deeper with the paid ad stuff, if I go to go a bit deeper on the paid ad funnel, there are 4 different types of paid ad funnels you can run. Number 1 is going to be a group funnel. So this is where you sell a service and they typically need to see some results before they kind of fully trust you. There are a few things that might be similar to this. So for example, we use a free group funnel. We have a school group. What's another example? Basically anything. So let's say you sell email marketing. You just run an ad. You have an email plus phone opt-in. Then your thank you page is going to promote your Facebook group, school group, whatever it is. This email opt-in will be for a lead magnet, which we'll talk about more in a second. But what you're going to do is you're going to get their email stuff, and then you're going to promote your school group, Facebook group on the thank you page. You can have a VSL there, and then auto redirect to the group after the delay. So let's say you put them in the Facebook group. Then within that group, you have a bunch of content you can post in there every day. Treat it similar to a newsletter. Treat it similar to basically any sort of piece of content. It's basically just another exclusive group. You can run retargeting ads to them. You can have setters in there reaching out to people. You can have email flows specifically for the people in the group, so you can send them social proof. You can send them whatever you want. And basically, these 4 things are just optimized towards getting them on a sales call. And you can imagine this sales call, after they've been through your group already, is going to be very, very different to someone who you just run to a book a call funnel. So immediately you're probably thinking, why would you go to a group instead of just to book a call? The reason for that is because a lot of the times when you go straight to book a call, it's very rare that people really understand what you do. They're kind of cold. They don't trust you still, which is the problem we were looking at before. Then let's say they don't join the group. You obviously have your email flows there and you have your SMS there as well to the people that opted in here for the lead magnet who didn't join at the group. Next one. This one's going to be the paid product funnel. This is typically pretty good if you're kind of don't understand paid ads that well. And the reason for that is because you can liquidate a lot of your costs if you can sell. Even if you just sell one product and you lose money on it, you just kind of have that ability to liquidate that cost a little bit easier, because obviously it's easier to sell a product that's $100 versus selling a product that's $4K. The reason that we like the paid product funnel is just that. So you can make money on the front end without having to sell your recurring service or anything like that. And Matt did this to great effect. I think he sold, he was doing his ad funnel, 6 or 7K a day through a paid product funnel. All you need to do is come up with something $10 to $100, really, really easy. You want it to be like an impulse purchase. You don't want it to be something that's too big. You want people to be able to see your ad, understand that they're in the target market for that thing, and then just be able to go, screw it, I'm just going to buy that thing. Then you want to have an upsell funnel. So you want to have some sort of OTO there that can sell them, something that might be more, or, an extended version of that paid product. So you might have, 100 email marketing templates here that you can go and edit for your ecom brand. And then here you might have, like a $500 or a $200, $100, welcome flow template, or some sort of automation thing. Then all of a sudden you've made a bit of money there. You've tested your ads a bunch to try and make that profitable. Then you can have a thank you page. You can promote whatever the damn hell you want. Ideally, some sort of conversion mechanism, which would be, sales call, webinar, your group. You can promote, pretty much anything, and we'll touch on more in a second. But that's kind of more on the conversion side. This is just getting the eyeball. So you're running the ad to the product, trying to go for the upsell. You have your thank you page, and you're making them aware of your offer there. You might have direct sign up. You have your email flows. You have your appointment setter. You have your content. You have your webinar, whatever it may be. And then you're sending them down here towards your other offers. Next up, we have the newsletter funnel. I couldn't find it in the Miro board, so I had to just grab it off a doc that I had. So what this is going to be is this is when you have a very high price service with a long sales cycle, or you sell a service that's only needed in an emergency or under a certain set of conditions. So for example, if I was selling recruiting, I would love to use a newsletter funnel, because I know people aren't going to need to hire all the time. So I would just use a newsletter funnel to try and congregate a lot of my ideal customers in one spot and get in front of them quite frequently. So if they ever needed to hire, then they could go straight to me. So what you want to do here is run an ad to a lead magnet. You want to have a co-registration pop-up, which is basically when someone signs up to your newsletter, and then there's a software that can promote other newsletters that might pay you, $1, maybe less, towards getting that subscriber from you, because obviously you've spent the ads and someone says, hey, if you give me that email subscriber, I'll give you a little bit of money, and that can serve to liquidate a bit of your ad spend. And then you have the thank you page that can promote your offer if they need it. Really what we're trying to do with the newsletter funnel is just grow it as profitably as we can, or at least not lose money, or at least lose the least amount of money that we possibly can. And really what we're trying to do here is not only get them to trust us, but also just, like I said, congregate as many of our ideal customers on that list, make them aware of our offer, stay in front of them, get them on a webinar, get them on a book a call, or get them to book a call. Basically just stay in front of them until they eventually may need to hire. Or if we have a high price service with a long sales cycle, we get them in our ecosystem. That's the whole point here. Then obviously upsell them, do your intro offer, whatever it may be. The next one is the VSL funnel, the webinar funnel. So this is, let's say you have a specific training, case study, presentation, whatever it is that you can show them that convinces them to buy. Basically what this is, again, it's running the ad to a lead magnet. You might have an email only sign up, thank you page, and then your thank you page promotes that webinar or sign up. Again, this works really well because they go through the whole webinar, ideally, and then they get on a sales call and they're pretty warm at that point. So that covers a lot of the paid ad stuff in the most brief way that I possibly could. If we go back over here, that's just the start. So that's just the paid ads. But really, if you break that down, all you need is 30 minutes a day. You only need to learn one of those funnels in 30 minutes a day, an hour a day. If you're a smart person, you're already running a business, that shouldn't be too hard. And really, that's the source of most of your traffic. Next up, we have content. So with your content, you want to be posting on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, and LinkedIn. Obviously, TikTok is a little bit more B2C. Like, people kind of think that's less of a focus, but at the same time, it's still worth it if you're already going to be creating content for Instagram. The thing about Instagram that's really, really interesting is you can post a story and you'll be surprised at the category of people that will view that story. So you can't always get an insight on who's consuming this content, but when you post a story, you can click on it, open it up. There's people that make 7-8 figures easily that view Instagram stories a lot. Like, everyone is on Instagram. So I'll be optimizing for Instagram in terms of those posts, and then you can just cross post those to TikTok. Same as Twitter. You can kind of optimize for Twitter or LinkedIn depending on which one of those more of your target customers are. So for example, if you sell to ecom, I'd focus more on Twitter. If you sell more to SaaS, I'd probably focus more on LinkedIn. And then whichever one of those you optimize for, because obviously there's content that's optimized for Twitter, there's content that's optimized for LinkedIn. So I'd optimize for whichever one is more likely to be, suited to your customers, and then you can just cross post those to the other one. And then obviously YouTube. YouTube is the absolute backbone of any good sales funnel. So like I said before, when people see your paid ad, they look you up. And when they look you up, one of the first things they see is going to be YouTube. Why is that? Because Google owns YouTube, and YouTube absolutely pumps in the search engine. So when that happens, you come up, and that is going to cut your CPAs like crazy. This is one of the biggest things that we implement with all of our clients. And even just having videos there, even if they don't get any views, when people look you up, it's insane trust just to have someone look at your face, hear your voice for that amount of time, and it does absolute wonders for you. So if I go here, this is a little bit of a quick overview. Rapid fire, here's how you make your content. So from your content, you're going to want to start off with Twitter posts. How are you going to make your Twitter posts? You're going to have 3 single tweets, 3 threads per week, 3 graphics per week, 1 video per week on Twitter, and 1 promotional post per day. Let's say, for example, you sell email marketing. What we're going to do here is we're going to break our service down into each step of that service or each problem that's associated with that service. So deliverability, design, headlines, flows, segmenting, pop-ups. I'm not sure if you could see that, but we have deliverability, design, headlines, types of flows, segmenting, pop-ups, strategy, copy, and testing. We're going to schedule 20 recurring posts in Hype Fury for each. I'm imagining, let's say you do email marketing. As soon as I say the word deliverability, you're going to have 10 to 20 things to say about that, and then you can replicate those for design, headlines, etc. Schedule those into Hype Fury, 5 to 7 per day. Pretty easy there. Then also add in 1 promotional post per day with a hard sell, auto plugs, soft sells, which might be, case studies, client wins, reviews. Your hard sell is going to be, hey, here's a webinar. Hey, here's an intro offer. Hey, book a call. Then what we want to do is if we go up here from those Twitter posts that we make, we can sort those by the number of likes. The ones that get a lot of likes, make a YouTube video about them. So for example, let's say people really want to know how to get out of spam for their ecom brand. Really easy to just go and make an in-depth breakdown about that on YouTube. Obviously, there's really optimized videos about YouTube. I'm just giving you an overview of how to generate leads here. Then you also can make pitches of the threads, etc., and keep them in your YouTube videos as well. Then if you have a tweet, it's really easy to make short form content about that, as long as you just add a hook, add, a little bit of a, proof or a bit of a story about it, and then you can easily turn a single tweet into a short form content. Then what you can do as well is you can hire a VA that turns your tweets into carousels. You can use those for LinkedIn, and you can use those for Instagram as well. So that's like a really rapid fire way to make content. Even if you just went in and made these topics, you're probably going to be able to think of 10 to 20 things about deliverability, design, etc. If you can't think of those things, just come up with, go into ChatGPT and say, hey, come up with 10 frequently asked questions about deliverability. And it might be, should I include links in my email, something like that. And then there's your deliverability content. Obviously break that down into your YouTube stuff. Boom. So that covers content pretty briefly. Then we have outreach. So if I pull up my outreach, I believe I have it here. Boom. Then the next thing is outreach. I'll give you a quick crash course. When it comes to cold email, really the biggest thing and the most important thing is going to be the offer. You need it to be really low risk. You need to make it easy for them to say yes. You need to lead with value. So don't push for a call, and you want to differentiate yourself as well. So a really easy way to do that is to push for a loom or to use a unique mechanism. A unique mechanism is something we use at 1000x Leads, which is basically like an AI model that can do free work. So for example, we have a unique mechanism that can basically make a full marketing plan for you. So it gives you cold email scripts, YouTube video ideas, etc. If I remember where it is, I'll drop it in the description so you can see what that is. Then really the easiest way to do this is to push for a loom. So you can just say, hey, I made a loom about the top 3 things you can do to get result. Really, really easy. So, hey, I made a loom about the top 3 things, important to email marketing that can help brands in 1 to 5 mil a year range get to 10 mil. You can even go more specific than that. You can say, hey, saw you were landing in spam. Here's 3 things you can quickly do in the next, 24 hours to get out of spam. Really, really easy. Anything like that. Just make something up that's really, really potent that solves a problem for your customer. Do you mind if I send this over? Make sure it's a no-brainer. Make sure it's easy. Make them say yes. Then what you want to do is reply within 5 minutes. You can either do that manually or with subsequences, and you can then send the loom and the conversion mechanism in that reply email. So once they reply, you obviously don't want to just send them the loom. If you send them the loom and you don't give them the next steps, they're obviously not going to take the next steps. You're not going to get if you don't ask. So what you want to do is send them the loom and then push them to the next thing, whether that's a call, whether that's a webinar, whatever that may be. And we can probably ignore this unique mechanism stuff because that's not as relevant. With that loom, make sure you embed the loom with the thumbnail in, whatever sending tool you're using, whether it's Instantly, whatever it may be. Make sure you embed it. So to embed it, you have to click a different setting in Loom. As long as you click share, it'll come up with either a link or embed link. And this is going to allow them to be able to see your face without clicking the link. This is going to make them click it more often. So it works really well. Next, you need to build your list. So what you want to do is, number 1, make sure you clean it with Million Verifier. This is one of the easiest mistakes you can make, is get a list off Apollo or get a list from wherever you get them and then think that it's ready to go. Don't do that. You need to clean it with Million Verifier. Otherwise, the list will be old and you'll be emailing people who's basically don't use that email address anymore. And what happens then is you have a high bounce rate. If you have a high bounce rate or a bounce rate that's too high, eventually what happens is you're going to be flagged as spam because Google and all the sending platforms are going to hate you because they think you're just sending to dead emails. Not good. But once you have that, make sure you're having the correct audience. So whether they use certain technologies, whether the founder, whether the CEO, marketing people, whether they're in the right locations. So typically just use US, Canada, Australia, UK, typically good. And their employee count wouldn't ever go less than 3 because if you're selling a done-for-you service, you're probably wasting your time below that level. And you wouldn't go too high either because, like I said, same deal applies with less than 3. If they're above, a certain range and you're selling agency stuff, depending on what type of agency you are, you're not going to be able to sell to them too easily. They might have already someone doing it done for you in-house already. But if you can hit that 3 to 20 range is usually pretty sweet, unless you're going for more enterprise deals. Next, we have writing the script. So do I sound stupid? Do I talk like this in real life? That's usually a really good filter. Just don't sound stupid and talk like you talk in real life. That's usually going to be, halfway there. Keep it 50 words or less. Get your propaganda across. Frame it for your ICP, and then have a really hard CTA, and then ask permission to send. So don't send a loom preemptively. Not only is that going to kill your deliverability if you're sending links all the time, but that is also going to basically get a really low watch rate. And when I say get our propaganda across, that's probably the one that isn't that clear. It just means if you have certain things that are important to your offer, then you need to basically communicate that. Ideally, your offer is really it's already in the mind of the customer in the way that you're already solving a problem that they're aware of. So for example, if you're selling email marketing, the prospect is likely already aware of a flow. They're likely already aware of deliverability. They probably already know this stuff. But an example of how you can get your propaganda across is, we've helped this person fix their deliverability, which helped them make an extra XYZ. So what that means is just making them think that the stuff we think is important for our offer is important. So get them to think deliverability is important so we can then sell them deliverability stuff. And then frame it for your ICP basically just means use words that they understand and never use jargon. So words they understand is even when you use any sort of abbreviations or you use any sort of jargon, even if 1% of your market doesn't understand that thing, so let's say you use LP because you sell landing pages, even if 1% of your market doesn't understand what an LP is, it's bad. You can just say the full thing. And then also framing it for your ICP, meaning talk about benefits and problems that they understand. So if I'm talking to, let's say I'm talking to someone who doesn't really understand the depths of cold email, I'm not going to say we use cold email. I'll say we use outreach techniques, or we use, something that makes sense in their brain versus, a kind of a jargony term that we use. Next, with your delivery, again, embed the loom with the thumbnail, deliver in 5 minutes or less when you deliver the loom, and then also deliver the conversion mechanism. So say, hey, there's a webinar this Tuesday, here's the link, or hey, let's get on the phone. Do you have 5 to 10 minutes to chat? And then bonus points if the conversion mechanism is a natural continuation of the loom. So if you're sending a loom about deliverability, you might say, hey, we're hosting a webinar about deliverability stuff. Join here and we'll help you run through the entire process on a call. Or you can say, hey, we just sent you that deliverability loom. If you want us to take a look at your back end ourselves, happy to chat at 5 p.m. on Tuesday, and I'll take a look myself. I'll give you that audit for free. That works really, really well, because the worst thing ever is when they reply and then they don't get on a call or they don't get the conversion mechanism. The sexier you can make it look here with the conversion mechanism being a natural continuation, the better. And then you have some non-outreach related gains. So having content on the profile, having PR, having all your domains redirect to the main site, having your VSL, having video testimonials, having case studies, and having free videos on the site. These things are all massive. Then you have your cold DM. So you have your list building, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. Who does my ICP follow? Do this only with accounts your ICP would know. So for example, if I'm selling to ecom people, I might, go and look at an account like Chase Diamond and say, hey, a lot of ecom people are going to follow him. I'm going to go check his following or his followers, and then basically scrape those with Scrapy Bird and then take a look through those and build a list. Then with LinkedIn, you can make a fake profile, set the profile as working at XYZ, and then export a list of people following that company. So this might be a company that a lot of people in your niche would follow, like for example, Shopify, and you can say, I work at Shopify, and then you can get a list of people following that company, and then you can scrape that list with Phantom Busters and send with Relaxy. Then you can also do on Instagram. That's a bit more manual. Then what you want to do with that list is prospect. So 30 minutes per day. And what you want to do is just reach out to them and try and build value. Don't try and, do some stupid automated pitch. That really never works. As long as you give away really hot value, just spend 30 to 60 minutes per day sending manual looms, giving people audits, giving people free source, and basically just building relationships. And that's going to be your shield against bad months. So that's kind of outreach personified. If we go back over here to the main funnel, those three things, if you had that paid ad funnel running at $50 a day, you're making, 5 to 7 tweets per day and 2 to 3 YouTube videos per week, and you were doing outreach, each of these things is going to cost you maybe one, maybe 2 hours maximum. You could probably do them in 30 minutes if you're really skilled, or if you've got your skills up quite a bit. And this is going to be the thing that literally prevents you from not having leads ever. And it's going to cost you 2 to 3 hours a day if you're doing all of them at max. So it's like, I can totally understand when people don't see these things and they don't know what to do. But if you're trying to get more leads, you're trying to make more money, do outreach, make content, do paid ads. It's going to be one of those things. And then with your partnerships, that's going to come out of your prospecting and your cold emails, like I mentioned before. We've got other videos about that on my channel and Matt's channel. But if you're thinking, how do I make more money? How do I get more people to look at me, more people to know me so I can sell them stuff? It's this stuff. It is paid ads, content, and outreach. I can't harp on that enough, because a lot of people DM me, they ask me questions, what stuff do I do to make money? It is purely this. It's doing it, getting good at it, doing it more, doing it better. That's it. If you're thinking about how do I now convert those leads, a lot of that is going to be in your lead magnets, your thank you page, your email flows, your webinar, your VSL, etc. When it comes to your thank you page, really all this is going to be is it's going to be promoting a conversion mechanism. So what are my conversion mechanisms? Let's say we're running paid ads, right? So we're running paid ads to our lead magnets. A lead magnet might be how to do deliverability for your e-commerce brand. E-com brand owner opts in. They then go to our thank you page, and our thank you page promotes a conversion mechanism. That might be a live workshop. That might be my newsletter, although they're already going to get added to my newsletter, so that's probably out. Or it might be my webinar, or it might be my community, my free group. It might be a call with my appointment setter to qualify them, or it might be my unique mechanism, which might be an AI that makes their flows automatically for them with AI and send them to them. So all of a sudden, the act here is we've gone and ran a paid ad for this deliverability lead magnet, and we've said, I want to push them even further down the funnel. I'm going to make a thank you page with a VSL. Let me try and pull one up right now. So this is an example of our thank you page. We don't have a VSL on it, but the purpose here is that they've opted in for a lead magnet. Then they're going to go ahead and opt in for these, ideally, these extra trainings. This is basically every single one of our lead magnets in one. And the goal that we have here is they give us more information. So when we go for the lead magnet opt-in, we run paid ads to a page that only asks for their email address. So what we want to do is we want to enrich that data with more information. So we want their full name, email address, phone number, website, and monthly rev. So now we can have an appointment set up, reach out to them, and we can send them SMS flows. So it's like we get them in with this super, super sexy lead magnet. We then send them to our thank you page, and we're making them aware of our offer here. Then we're also going to have email flows. Give me one sec. I'll pull up our email flow stuff. With the email flows, the goal here is to overcome or address every single objection or frequently asked question, and also link to our content. So again, when I say we need the content is basically just more bullets in the clip that we can send at our prospects. So for example, if we have YouTube videos about every single topic that our prospect could possibly even think of, all of a sudden in our email flows, when we're trying to address or overcome every single objection, we're going to get them to click on a video, and we're going to eventually push them further down the funnel. So again, the goal here is that we get them in with something super sexy, and then we nurture them over time towards buying, rather than just going straight book a call. So you can probably start to see, oh shit, this actually probably makes sense. It's not really fantastical stuff. It's just putting it all together is the thing that makes the biggest difference, because when you have these multipliers of 1.1x, 1.2x, 1.1x, 1.2x, it adds up to 100x. It's never one thing that gives you that 10 or 100x. It's having all of these things adds up to eventually give you that. So we have this overcoming and addressing every objection. We're linking to our content, and we're getting them to click on our offer link or our conversion mechanism link, or getting them to book a call. An example of what one of these emails might look like, not sure why that's blurry, probably zoomed in too much, but we can go ahead and go straight in for all agencies should have a newsletter is one thing here, and we're talking about that. We have a video linked there, and then we have ever wanted to make a low ticket info product, this will help. We have no one can do it for you, that's an objection. Should I do this myself? No, you should. Should I, or can I outsource this? No, you have to do it yourself. And then basically promoting our offer down here. So it's actually really simple stuff. Like, you're probably going to look at this and be like, yeah, this isn't really expert copywriting here. This is just having the right stuff. So you send this Monday to Friday. That's what we do. Again, if you want to sign up to our newsletter so you can just see what it is and see how we do stuff, sign up to it. Feel free. I'm not gonna say don't sign up to my email list, am I? Doesn't really make sense. Then I think I touched on the lead magnets briefly, but if you're wondering what the lead magnet content should be, here are our ones. So we have email setup one, newsletter one, about scaling to 1,000 leads per day, 30-day content plan, how to create lead magnets, productivity system and habits, standards and culture, conversion mechs, partnerships and strategy, prospecting, offers for different levels of the market, and paid ads funnels. So they're like live examples of what they are. So we're not just, we're not just making this stuff up and saying, go do this random stuff and mind the messy Miro board here. But we're not just making this stuff up and saying, go ahead and do it. This is stuff that we actually have. So we're running paid ads to lead magnets, to a thank you page. We're promoting our conversion mechanisms. We have our community. We have our appointment setter. I'll even pull up our community right now as well, so you can see inside of it. But you can imagine that when you have all this stuff, it's almost more difficult to not have leads than it is to have leads. And you have your outreach as well. That's gone towards your lead magnets. You've got your email flows. Everything is working to bring each other up. It is so damn powerful. And I know it's probably not even worth getting too deep into the affiliate stuff, but what you want to do is with the affiliate stuff is you just promote affiliate links in your lead magnets. So when you're running paid ads, a problem here that most people have when they're running to lead magnets is that they can't float enough ad spend. So unless you're running to a digital product, where obviously you're liquidating a lot of ad spend there, you can have affiliate links in your lead magnets. So for example, if I'm promoting email marketing, I might have an A/B testing software on there. I might be promoting Klaviyo. I might be promoting SendLane. There's a lot of things that you can promote, and people actually click those. So it's kind of weird, but people actually click those. I think Matt was making maybe $100,000 a year, wouldn't be $100,000 a month. I think it was $100,000 a year from Webflow affiliates at his agency. So it can be a significant amount of revenue just by having, hey, sign up for Webflow using my link, sign up for Shopify using my link, sign up for Klaviyo using my link, and that can give you a bit of ad spend back. But the point here is that you have to do this paid ads content outreach. That's all I really want you to do, because all of a sudden when this happens, you're almost forced to have your lead magnets and you're almost forced to have your conversion mechanisms, because you'll note all of these things are not sales calls. These are all leveraged ways, because when you have so many leads, you don't want to get on these freezing cold sales calls. You say, hey, go watch my VSL, go to my community, go talk to my appointment setup, et cetera, et cetera. And then typically what happens at that point is that you're generating a lot of leads and a lot of unqualified leads as well. I think a really big problem that people have is when they're doing this, they're like, oh, well, that lead gen strategy was shit because it generated unqualified leads. But the reality is that most leads are unqualified anyway, and it's more of a skill issue that you don't have something to monetize unqualified leads. We do talk about having programs, having courses, having referrals, and people that you can send deals to. I think that's great. Personally, I think the best way to monetize unqualified leads is just with an intro offer though. So for example, you're selling email marketing. I always use that because we have a lot of clients that do it. But let's say you're selling email marketing. The one-time service I would be selling is just a flow setup. Like you just sell them a flow setup, and you might sell them for 2 to 5K, even 10K if you're a bigger agency. But if you sell a one-time service for 4K, pretty much every person can afford that. Like that's like a consumer can afford 4K. So a business can afford 4K. So that's not really going to deal with unqualified leads. The problem is that you probably don't even have a one-time service that you offer. Literally, we installed this in one of our clients' businesses. I think it was Angus, and he started closing 30K weeks after being at like 10K a month. And he started hitting 30K weeks just by adding a one-time service. So even just by monetizing the leads that you already have, the unqualified ones that you already have, you're not becoming a guru by selling them a one-time service. There's no issue with that. Some people have issues with delivering that one-time service if they haven't productized it before, but that's the same as delivering any new service, and you just need to learn how to do it. And you just deliver the service. If you struggle to deliver services, this funnel is probably not for you. You probably need to learn how to deliver your services. And you can go on YouTube and watch a whole page of stuff about how to deliver your own service. That's completely fine. But if you know how to deliver a one-time service, and you can watch this video today, go back into your pipeline and talk to leads that you talked to 6 to 12 months ago that you disqualified and said you're not big enough to work with us, and just say, hey, we just came up with this new offering. I think it might be a better fit for you based on what we discussed a few months ago. Do you want to jump on a call and talk about how we can get you a result? I guarantee you're probably going to sell some deals. And like I said, we literally just did that with Angus, started hitting 30K weeks. But again, while you're generating a lot of unqualified leads here, you're also going to generate a lot of qualified leads. And those qualified leads, that's when you can sell them your one-time service, your recurring service, etc., because they've already gone through all this stuff. Like, have you ever seen someone and just like, I can't get away from this person? Like their marketing is just everywhere. Some people started saying that about us after a few months of us running this, and it's like, yeah, that's what happens. They just start, oh, this guy's on Twitter. I see his paid ads. I see his YouTube. I'm on his newsletter. He's in my inbox every day. He's emailing me all the time. He's on this podcast with this person. That happens as a result of doing this stuff. So it's like, if you generate leads at this rate, you have your webinar, you have your workshop, you have your newsletter up, and you have this stuff that's constantly nurturing those leads, it's like, oh, shit, we do have leads. That does make sense. It really just starts off with why you wouldn't be able to do this, which is going to be usually skill, routine, focus, and kind of just the know-how and the discipline to be able to do it, and not see it as, that's something that, oh yeah, of course Hormozi's going to have 10 lead magnets, but I can't have 10 lead magnets. And people say things like, oh well, yeah, of course that person runs paid ads. I don't know how to run paid ads. Of course that person can post content, but I can't do it. I think it's pretty undeniable that, yeah, if you want clients, you have to do at least one of these things. if you want to get clients. You have to at least be thinking, I'm going to run paid ads, I'm going to do content, I'm going to do outreach. And if one of them is not working for you, is it because, well, maybe you don't have content up? Maybe your outreach isn't that good because you have no YouTube, you have no VSL, you don't have all this stuff. This stuff is what I would consider the non-negotiable starting point for running any sort of B2B agency. If I was starting something up today, I'd be thinking, all right, let's make a lead magnet today. Let's run some paid ads to it. Let's get our content rolling and let's spin up some cold email domains, because this is how you get traffic. I think it's that simple. Hopefully I've explained this decently well, because when you get down here, you obviously have your case studies. That's like a video interview, free video content on your website, video testimonials, and you have your VSL and you have your pre-call flow, which I believe we have videos about on Matt's channel as well. If you want to check that out, Matthew Larson. And we have breakdowns about all this stuff on both of our channels as well, so you can subscribe and look through those. But really, if you want to generate leads, paid ads, content, outreach, send those leads down through your funnel, email flows, thank you page, webinar VSL, etc. And you should be able to get some leads.